Welcome to Mos Pelgo Props. This is my first video for my YouTube channel. I had put out a trailer a couple weeks ago highlighting a couple of my props. I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan, and I build props here and there. More recently, it's actually kind of gotten a lot bigger, and I had been following a couple other YouTubers with some phenomenal channels. Brian from the Smuggler's Room, Sean from Try to Finish Something, James Cully from the Rebel Base Build, Ada Moren from Fabworks, and David from Whitey's Wicked Workshop. I'd like to say thanks to Sean for getting me out of my comfort zone with this YouTube channel. I had been building props off and on over the years. I started off with some Indiana Jones props, built a grill cup, headpiece. That was many, many years ago. Then I started doing some Blade Runner props. I built a couple of blasters, weathered a jacket. But more recently, in the last, I'd say, year or so, it's been pretty much Star Wars. I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan. I went and seen Star Wars when I was 7 years old. It was quite the experience, and it stuck with me today, even going back as a kid. And there's just that feeling that you get from watching Star Wars, all the different alien races and things like that, how they got along. Some of it mimics society today, some of it doesn't. All in all, it's a great universe. Everything is grungy and dirty and lived in, and that's some of the things that we bring to some of our props. We have a prop builder group, the Star Wars Room Builders on Facebook. Brian had started that along with James Cully and David from Whitey's Wicked Workshop. And I have to say a special thanks to all those guys. It's really, really opened my eyes to prop building, and it went from small props to really big props. Some of those I'll highlight in my video. I'm currently working on a Star Wars themed bench. I had acquired two helicopter housings or engine housings from a salvage yard in the local area here, and I bought them not knowing what I was going to do with them, and then the more I looked at it, it was like, gosh, I just got to build a bench. And I post some of my work, or actually all my work, on social media. And a few weeks ago, Rob Rock in the group had posted a link for an item on Amazon, which was a sight glass, which is one of these sight glasses here. They're relatively inexpensive. I'll put the link in the description below where you can purchase those. Quite a few builders started buying them and integrating them into their builds. As you can see, I'm sitting in an RV right now. It's a nice sound room and a good place to shoot. My garage, which is going to be a Star Wars themed room, is currently in the works. We'll move in there later in later videos. It's going to be a Star Wars cantina, so hopefully it works out real well. But today's build, I'm going to cover wiring. Wiring is integrated into every single Star Wars build, whether it's lighting or a smoke machine or lighting some animatronic or things like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and weather this wiring housing. This also you can get on Amazon. It's a special effects light. It's supposed to emulate fire, and it pulses back and forth. It's another relatively inexpensive prop. And so all the wires are usually black or white or whatever color that they come in, but it just doesn't seem in universe. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to weather this. I'm going to be using Rub and Buff, which you can get at any hobby store. You can get it on Amazon. Be using pewter and ebony and Spanish copper. And I'm going to follow it up with some burnt umber oil paint. It's water-based. It doesn't matter either one. You do got to be a little bit light on it because it does actually remove some of the rub and buff. I'm not sure if it's the oil compound in it, but it seems to take it off. So you got to use it sparingly. So what I'm building is a hyperfuel container that's going to be integrated into my Star Wars bench. There's a 3D printed tube on the inside. They come with a clear glass, but I had printed a opaque or semi-clear tube that I put in the inside, and a combination of that and parchment paper disperses the light pretty well, and it gives it quite a good effect. I want to give a shout out to Ado from Fabworks and Derek from Vanu's Props. They had made some graphics that they have available on Etsy, and I'll post that in the link below as well. Graphics kind of make the project. This one in particular is a battery housing. It's another surplus piece that I found that I decided to do a little Star Warsification on. And I picked it up a few months ago, painted it, put a stripe on it. It's supposed to be kind of a rebel-themed prop. And I had found some stencils that I had went ahead and used and painted. But on the front is one of the graphics from Ado and Derek. And again, they're available on Etsy, and I'll post that link as well. And but it does make the prop. And once it's painted and weathered, a little bit of rub and buff for the weathering to have a little bit exposed metal on the sides of it and on the edges, and dirty it up a little bit using water-based oil paints, which burnt umber and a couple of other ones seem to be the go-to colors for those. And so I'll highlight some of my props as I go along in future videos, and hopefully you have something you can take away from it. Maybe it's a technique that you haven't used, or a different technique from what you are using. So we'll get started here, and hopefully we'll have some fun together, and I'll do some future videos, and if this one tanks, maybe I won't. So we'll see how it works out. Again, thanks for joining me on Mos Pelgo Props, and let's get started. Remember to prep your surface beforehand, especially like stainless steel. You'll probably want to use a super fine grit sandpaper. That'll help your rub and buff or oil paint stick better to the surface that you're trying to weather. A little bit goes a long way, and if it don't turn out the first time, you can always redo it. And there you have it, the finished prop. I forgot to mention that I had integrated a piece of braided hose as well. That was inexpensive to find in any hardware store. The light itself gives a pulsing kind of coaxium look, as you'd seen in like Solo, a Star Wars story. Overall, the prop was really quick, inexpensive to build, and you could use it as a lamp or a light fixture or whatever you wanted to make it into. The weathering, the video, it's really hard to tell the amount of weathering that's there. It did dirty it up quite a bit. I'll go ahead and post some still photos as well, along with the finished prop itself. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate all your time and energy you put into watching the YouTube video. And again, we'll see how this goes forward. And thanks again for joining me at Mos Pelgo Props. Looking forward to doing another video here again in the future. And then we'll start getting into the Star Wars room as well. Thanks again. Bye-bye. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I'll try and get as much content as I can up from week to week. I'm looking forward to posting more videos.